Hello and welcome to the live presentation for Classical, Medieval, and Renaissance Studies, CMRS, as we formally call ourselves at the U of S. I I'm not sure how many people are watching this, and it's kind of like online teaching. I feel like I'm talking into the void, but I'm just going to forge ahead and hope this counts for something. What I think I'll do right now, traditionally during the open house sessions, we have faculty members teach little sample classes. And what we have today is a short 10-minute video by one of our faculty, Professor Avi Ackerman, giving you an overview of one of the courses that he teaches for our program. So there's a lot of options in the CMRS program. It's an interdisciplinary program. I'll explain that after the video is over. But this overview gives you an idea of the kinds of things and the kinds of approaches that you might encounter while in the CMRS program, covering a wide range in history and different disciplines and some very intriguing ideas. So I'm just going to play this video here. If you just hang on a moment here, and I think we're there. We'll
class Geographic and Planning Thought in Classical, Medieval, and Renaissance Studies. So today I would like to students. My name is Avi Ackerman. I'm teaching the course Early History of Geographic and Planning Thought in Classical, Medieval, and Renaissance Studies. So today I would like to introduce you to this class, and hopefully you will consider joining the Classical, Medieval, and Renaissance Studies, and you will also consider coming into my class. What's the class about? What is the class about? The class is about the connection between the notion of an ideal city. So we have this ancient contemplation about cities that appears to be the case that there is such a thing as an ideal city. And this ideal city is in fact related to the perfection of the universe. The fact that the sun is rising and setting at the same time, and the fact that we have the North Star pointing in the direction of the north, all these are considered features of the universe in antiquity, Middle Ages, and the Renaissance, before people knew about astronomy the way we know. So this was a very mythical, religious contemplation. And one of these examples is the city of Jerusalem as an ideal city, which is also in the center of the universe, center of the world, the geographical center between Europe, Asia, and Africa. So you can see that this is not a precise geographic rendition, but nevertheless, it's very beautiful, and it's a religious concept more than anything else. So the ideal city, as an example here, has taken different how would I say, different features. And one of the more interesting ones is, I'll show you here, that is the ideal city of Leonardo da Vinci, Romorantin, in France. This was intended to be the capital of France, and Leonardo was trying to convince the king to actually pursue the plan of this city the way he sketched it. What's so important and how is it related to the bubonic plague? It's related in one major way. Leonardo introduced something very, very original, and that was the street level was not single level, but it was two levels. In other words, people were walking in his concept, people were walking not on a single sidewalk, but there was a sidewalk at the roadway level, and there was an elevated sidewalk that would be diluting actually the pedestrian movement so that germs would not spread as easily. Of course, they didn't know exactly how germs are being spread, but they had a notion and they knew that at close quarters, the infections are very serious. And so Leonardo was trying to identify the features of an ideal city that would address that. So I mentioned the alignment to east and west, and alignment also to north and south. That's another feature of an ideal city. And let's have a look. Let's have a look here at our very own fine city of Saskatoon. I don't have to convince you that the alignment is really north, south, east, and west. Obviously, that's the case. And what appears to be the case, that this is a very long tradition, very, very long tradition. Some things never change. Let me show you here the city of Mohenjo-Daro, 3500 BCE. And you can see alignment east-west, north-south. In addition, that there is also a grid pattern of street blocks. So that's very interesting. That's basically shows how this idea of universe and the ideal city were coming together. What we have is that this city was the Harappa civilization in the Indus Valley between India and Pakistan, had some impact on Egyptian urban planning, and it had also impact on Greek city planning. And let me show you here. This is classical Greece. City of Atlantis, you may have heard of Atlantis. That's a mythical city contemplated by Plato about 350 BCE. And what we have here is, again, alignment north-south, east and west, with sub-directions also of the compass, as you can see. Now, why would I show you this? The reason I'm showing you this is that it really is very interesting. The city of Atlantis, the mythical city of Atlantis, as you may know, has elicited a lot of thinking, a lot of assumptions about whether it was actually a city that existed or not. But the alignment that you can see here, and actually the circular pattern of the plan of Atlantis, has retained itself throughout the ages. And finally, then, let me show you the garden city of Ebenezer Howard, a British planner from the turn of the 19th century, where the city of Atlantis is exactly the direct inspiration to Ebenezer Howard. So I don't, again, need to convince you much that the Letchworth Garden City, which was actually one of the first garden cities, is very true to its suburban feature that as we see them today in our suburbs. So really, what we see here is the retention of an ancient tradition into urban planning of modernity or early modernity. So these are the topics that we will be discussing in this class, and I hope that you will consider joining the classical, medieval, and Renaissance studies, and that you will consider joining my class as well. Thank you very much.
All right, that was my colleague, Professor Avi Ackerman, just giving a little sample of one of the courses he teaches. My name is Yin Liu. I am the director of CMRS, Classical, Medieval, and Renaissance Studies, and I'm just going to say a few things about the program right now. So, Classical, Medieval, Renaissance Studies at the University of Saskatchewan is actually not a department, it's an interdisciplinary undergraduate program. And what that means is that we draw our resources from a number of departments. We have faculty all over campus. And the one thing we have in common is we all study old stuff. So if you're interested in old stuff, you might want to check out this program. There's a lot of different things or different approaches we can you can take in the program. You can kind of take a more literary stream, or you can be maybe you're interested in archaeology or history or art or something like that. The time span of the CMRS program goes all the way back from antiquity, so the classical era, to the early modern or Renaissance, and of course the Middle Ages are in between. So once again, old things, that's what we do. It is, I just want to point out, the only undergraduate program of its kind in North America. We offer honors degree, double honors degree, so you can combine it with another related discipline like history or archaeology or English. We also offer the regular 4-year major, and we also offer CMRS as a minor. CMRS is also the program that administrates the certificate in classical and medieval Latin, the minor in classics, and the certificate in medical terminology, because it's mostly Latin. One of the things that CMRS is known for is its experiential learning. So we have a group of very committed faculty who are very interested in getting students involved in their research. So it's a picture of some students on an archaeological dig, actually finding real stuff. You may also be wondering what kinds of careers you can get with a CMRS degree. Well, our graduates have gone on to graduate studies in various disciplines. They've gone on to law school, they've done museum studies, they've done library and information science, they've gone into administration, they've gone into education. So there's a lot of different opportunities, and I'd be happy to talk about those further if you're interested. I should also mention as well that we're very closely allied with the Museum of Antiquities at the University of Saskatchewan. So this is a small museum that's on campus. It's closed right now because of COVID, but hopefully it will open again. And they also ran online programs over the summer. It's in the Peter McKinnon building, if you ever have a chance to go there when the campus is open again. And it's got a very impressive range of artifacts, both original and replicas. So you could go to the British Museum and look at things, I suppose, but you probably can't right now. So you can look at some very impressive replicas, for example, the Rosetta Stone or things like that. We also have at the museum some original artifacts as well. One thing that's really important about the museum is that it has a very active volunteer program, and most of the volunteers are students at the University of Saskatchewan. It looks good in your resume, but you also have a lot of fun, learn a lot, and the training is world class. So if you're interested in volunteering with the museum, they would be very interested to hear from you. And some of the volunteers have gone on to actually get work at the museum or elsewhere. So the director of the Museum of Antiquities is Dr. Tracine Harvey. And if you just look up Museum of Antiquities at the University of Saskatchewan, you should be able to find their website. As well, I should also mention that CMRS has an allied student group, a very active group called Comitatus. And they often have events going on throughout the year. This year they're a little subdued again because of COVID, but I'm sure they're out there and I'm sure they're planning things. So there's lots of good student support, and it's a very fun group. They designed that coat of arms for themselves. So that's the URL for the CMRS website. My contact information, the director of CMRS.director at usas.ca is on it. And I would be happy to answer any questions you might have if you send me an email.